All right, everybody, welcome to NorCal Sports Network. And this is the same hat that Brock Purdy's dad wears. Chat loves it when Marty Lurie comes on.
Anytime you lose a game this time of year, when you can't go backwards, it's a problem.
All right, everybody, welcome on into NorCal Sports Network. And you may have just witnessed one of the greatest single game performances by any player in the game, considering that Shohei Ohtani pitched 6 shutout innings, striking out 10, and went 3 for 3 with 3 bombs. Unbelievable. I tip my hat to him. Very, very impressive. We'll break it down, Lou Marston and myself right here. But first, let us thank our sponsor of the show, Chapman Law Group. Chapman Law Group, located in Marin, licensed in all of California. Make sure you give Chapman Law Group a call for all your legal needs. 415-613-9483, and let them know NorCal Sports Network sent you. All right, Lou. Welcome again. The unreal performance by Shohei Ohtani. I can't believe what I just witnessed.
Yeah, to tell you the truth, it's sort of funny. He could almost be the MVP off one game because, remember, he really hasn't done anything. But here's what's so great about the Dodgers. He shows up in the 4th game. There's no pressure because they're up 3-0. But he was sort of unbelievable, and now he's woken up. I sort of feel sad for Seattle or Toronto, whoever's going to face him, because he's up. The only way, is if maybe the other series goes 7 games, because the World Series isn't going to start early if Seattle wins on Sunday. It's set. So that's the only way. But, that's what's so great about the Dodgers. They sort of remind me of Toronto, but they're so deep. Everybody thought the problem is they don't have pitching. Well, they have starting pitching. They don't really have a bullpen. They have a closer. They know that. And, it sort of reminds me how Timmy was. He's sort of the missing ingredients. How Timmy was, back over 10 years ago when the Giants did something. But, it's sort of great to see because, you know what? In baseball, when it happens in the playoffs, this was a game for the ages, something, we'll never see again. And I've never seen a lefty, hit one, 2 to the right, and then pull one. But his second homer is the farthest ball I've ever seen hit ever at Dodger Stadium. It went over the roof.
Yeah, it went over that pavilion.
Yeah.
That was so
it's
majestic.
Unbelievable. And the other thing is the other 2 homers were 2 strikes. This guy gets in. But you know what? That's why he's one of the best of all time. He's probably the best of our generation. That's the one thing that the Giants had balls. And we didn't have Farhan, and we really wanted someone like him. As you said, Dan, we could have offered him $1 billion. Just today's game, is just more merchandise. So, and it happened at home. So, now they sit back, and if Seattle wins one of the next 2, they get games 1, 2, 6, 7. If Toronto can win the next 2, then they got to go on the road. But, it's Ohtani.
Oh, is it,
the Dodgers, nothing you can do.
How does that work with I thought the Dodgers had the best record. They would get the first 2. Is that how it works?
No, Toronto has a better record.
Oh, did Toronto have a better record than the Dodgers?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I guess I messed that up. Okay.
I heard it today. So I saw, I heard it on the radio. So
yeah, I just did a video recording right before we went on the Dodgers. Yeah, Hey, Robert Boyd, good to see you in here. Our resident, he's a big Gator fan and a Sharks fan. When I say Gator, I mean Florida Gators, college Florida Gators. Gosh, I tell you, Lou, it's just remarkable how good this team is, and they're focused when they really need to be. They got swept by the Brewers 6-0 in the regular season, and it didn't mean nothing. They just swept them aside like, get out of here. We're ready to actually play now. And their pitching, I don't know. See, I look at it this way: Seattle, Toronto. I would think if they're facing the Dodgers, they're going to be lucky to get 2. Now, it's baseball, as Marty Lurie says. Anything can happen, right? Guys get injured, guys could be off the first game, and then the second guy doesn't pitch well. But if it's almost like you've always heard pitching staffs, one guy pitches well and another guy pitches well. Now it becomes a competition between the pitching staff.
Yep.
And they want to make sure that, hey, I don't want to go out there and, lay an egg out here and look bad. They got one. Did the Brewers just get 1 run in the whole series?
No, they scored more than 1, but they scored 4 in the whole series. Four. Yeah. I think that's what you meant. Did they get only an average of 1 run a game? And that's correct.
Well, yeah, I thought maybe they only got. I can't remember all the scores. I know it was 3-1 last night, 5-1 tonight. I guess that's 2. I thought there was a shutout in there.
There was, and then the other game was they lost 3-2 or 4-2 or something like that.
Oh,
they only scored 4
right.
runs. But the one about the Dodgers too is it's just not Ohtani. He was doing nothing the first 3 games they won. And then I think the key to all of it is Milwaukee's best player is 1 for 15. And I'm talking about Yelich. And he came up a bunch of times, huge situations, sort of like Chapman, and just couldn't come through. I mean, he came up and in the biggest at bat of the night, and just a weak grounder to second.
Oh, Yelich looks washed. He was the MVP, in the 22 season? Something like that.
30 homers this year. He had a great comeback year.
Yeah, he did. He was better this year, but he was. I mean, what they say is good pitching will always beat good offense. And man, you had Snell started off, and then Yamamoto, and then Glasnow and Ohtani, and I don't know. Ohtani looks like he might be the best pitcher, him and Snell, and he's their 4th starter.
Yeah, and I think what's amazing is he hasn't pitched, I think it was 11 days, and the last time he had a break of 2 weeks, he pitched 6 innings of no hit ball. So,
well, he's gonna get another 10 days. They don't play till next Friday, and he will not pitch until probably game 3 or 4. So if Saturday, game 3 would be a week from next Monday. That's what, 10, 11 days?
Yeah.
Game 4 would be Tuesday. He's going to get 11 to 12 days off again.
Yeah, pitching wise, yeah.
Pitching
wise. Well, they don't need him, I mean, I think the one thing is that's why, I mean, I don't know what the odds are, but I think if it's the Dodgers in Seattle, Dodgers will be like probably $1.80 favorite because they have home field. And if it's Toronto, they'll be about $1.40 because Toronto has the home field. But in these playoffs, the home field really hasn't meant much. I mean, the road teams, except for these last 2, have almost won every game, and it's just the pitching has been phenomenal. But there's been a couple times where Milwaukee, had an early lead, couldn't get a shutdown inning. They had a chance, they just couldn't get the big hit, and they were, I think, overwhelmed. I mean, I'm just going to bring this. If it was the Giants playing the Dodgers in this type of, it would have been the same thing. The Dodgers are just playing at just a higher level than everybody. Doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah. And you know what, Lou, as I watch these playoffs, we've talked a lot about contact being the big thing, but Seattle scored 6 runs tonight, all 6 runs, 2 solo homers and a grand slam, but they struck out like crazy amount of times. It seems like the way to build a team right now is get some mashers in your lineup that hit home runs and have at least 3 very good starting pitchers, ideally 4 or 5. You need probably 4 good starters and a couple in the wings when there's injuries to withstand 162. And the Dodgers just have it so good because they can deal with injuries all year long and then just let these guys. I really think these guys could come back sooner when they're injured, but they just say, you know what? we'll be 100%. We're not going to just be 98%.
When it counts.
We're going to be 120% peak performance. And our arms are going to be so well rested that every team, look at the teams that are out there throwing, they don't have anybody that can pitch. None of these guys except Scooble was able to go in the playoffs that you saw some. I mean, Scherzer did good last night for Toronto. He went 6, but most of these starters are coming out after 4 innings on these other teams. And some of these teams are using openers. And
yeah, I think sometimes too, the managers are over managing on some of these, because the thing is in the playoffs, it's 1st to 4. When you're up against the wall, you have to make decisions maybe you wouldn't do during the regular season. I mean, that's why I like Toronto. They can put 3 or 4 hitters and singles together and they have a rally. The same thing with the Dodgers. Seattle today's game, I thought got very lucky. The play with the bases loaded with 1 out where the ball went an inch. I thought the ball came back to the plate, which would have been a foul ball, but they got out of it. And I think in the playoffs, especially in these series like the other one, you need a little luck, some fluke play. When you think about that, I mean, Milwaukee had it in game 1 where they had the 8-6-2 double play. They should have gotten it. They didn't take advantage. And before you know it, boom, it's over.
Yeah. Robert says, watch the Dodgers lose the World Series so we can laugh. Yeah, that would be it. Look, we all kind of look at the big Goliath, right? Everybody wants to knock off Goliath. Lou, you've been a sports fan for as long as I have. You remember the 70s and
Big Red Machine.
But I mean, even in basketball, UCLA, college basketball, if they lost a game, it was front page news across the nation because they just were so good. And then you had you've got other dynasties in football. You had the 49ers.
College football, 80s. Oklahoma, Nebraska,
USC,
some of these teams.
Everybody wants to see USC go down. Everybody wants to see Miami Hurricanes were great. It's every sport. We experienced in the Bay Area with the Warriors after they won 2 easily with Kevin Durant. Everybody said, "Oh, you bought a championship, no fair." Look, if you're doing it within the rules of the game, there's nothing you can say. And
it's not like they bought Ohtani; they got him through free agency,
right?
Okay, well, they got the Giants could have done something, but the problem is they don't have a sack. It's sort of funny.
I like that.
They have big problems right now in San Diego, where it's coming out that they said their manager was sort of a prick to everybody else. He didn't really retire; he was fired. So they're now having again turmoil in San Diego. You can't win when you have 2 superstars. You're going to have to trade one. Detroit, they're 250 away from with Scooble. What are you going to do about that? The thing about the Dodgers is they're going to have this team. They'll probably win 3 in a row. Then you'll have, the baseball shut down. Their players are getting older, but you got to remember in 3 or 4 years, there's going to be new superstars. And who would you want to play with? They don't realize, why would you not want to play with someone like Ohtani? How would you not want to play with the best? You could be a medium player, but you do better there. It's like, the 3 Hernandezes. They're not great, but when the playoffs come, Kiki, the guy's a regular season player, 225. In the playoffs, the guy bats 400. Ohtani shows up today. It's absolutely out of control. And that's the thing people don't realize. You have a guy that can be in the World Series almost every year and play with the greatest player of our generation. That's such a big advantage for the next 5-6 years. And then again, Betts had a horrible year. He got hot the last 2 weeks of the season. He's now showing up. So it's like it's a tornado effect. Nothing you can do, but you got to also appreciate it. We may never see this in our generation again. One of the greatest players of all time and probably one of the best teams.
Hey, Lou, we've had to watch since 22, 4 years of 500 baseball. And we don't just watch the games. We watch all 162. All right. So we've had to watch, what is that? 162 times 4 years.
648.
Yeah, 648. 648. We've watched almost 650 games of 500 baseball. I kind of appreciate watching great baseball, fundamentally sound, good baseball. And you know what? I hate seeing it. It's the Dodgers, but you gotta accept and appreciate greatness. You don't have to like the team. You can hate the team, but you gotta say, man, these guys come to life when they, look at the Kiki Hernandez out there in left field. He makes a running catch and throws it like a shortstop from left field to first base, a perfect throw, because he can play shortstop too. And he throws them out, doubles up. I don't know what's his name? Perkins was doing. You're down like 4-0. And what are you doing? I mean,
hey, and Dan, I'll bring another thing up. You know how everyone thinks they're buying him? 2 years ago, Hernandez was a free agent. Why didn't the Giants go after him? Tasco for Hernandez. And the Dodgers just signed him for 1 year. Giants could have done it, never made a move, never spoke to him. There's another superstar. Who is it at Will Smith, right? Yeah, he's homegrown, but if you remember, Max Muncy got released by the A's. Giants didn't go after him. So it's not like they got these guys. The thing is, the Dodgers are a machine and they know what they're doing. And it's been the same for a while. The Giants, we have a couple problems. We're going to have another new manager. We have no continuity there. We went through Farhan, which took everyone back 5-10 years. We now have Buster, who's learning on the job. We have a GM who's learning on the job, right? They have owners where the Giants, where all they care about is rent. The Dodgers, every year, if they don't win the World Series, it's a letdown. They don't care about the 3-5, almost 4 million people. Like the Giants, hey, we have 3 million. We had a good year. No, the Dodgers want to get the rings. To tell you the truth, in the Bay Area, except for the Warriors, where they have an owner that wants to do whatever it is to win a championship, Giants aren't doing that. Giants are still happy. Hey, we won. It's like today's the anniversary of the earthquake in '89, right? Oh, right. And people go, oh, God, that was great. Yeah, but we didn't win it. The other thing is, it's been over a decade. Again, I've said it a lot of times. 1 second half winning season. That's a disgrace. We're the Giants. We're not like the Pittsburgh Pirates. We're not like these teams that are low. And again, the Giants are happy what they did, but it's over 10 years ago. And the only year we had a winning season was 2021. And people go, oh, yeah, Lou, we were close. No, we weren't close. What do you mean we were close?
We didn't even win the division.
We didn't win. We didn't even win the series. Come on, guys. We got to move forward and stop thinking about it. The Giants right now, oh, we have the best ballpark. The ballpark's gotten old. Oh, we have the best announcers. No, our guys are either homers. They make a lot of mistakes. Maybe 5 years ago, they were the best announcers, but they're not. Okay. We live in the past. We got to face reality. This team needs a lot of work. They're not going to get $3.2 million next year because, as we said on a show about a month ago, the home schedule is not good. The weekends are a disaster. They're going to have so many giveaways, just probably trying to break even. And again, Buster's had 1 year. It's now time to step up. He has golden opportunities, but here's the problem. Say you want someone like Skubal. They want to trade Skubal, but they also say you got to take Baez's contract. Okay, so it's just not going to be one person. So what are the Giants going to do? They're probably going to have to give up 2 guys that probably the Giant fans want to live. Oh, we got to keep Eldridge. No, you're going to have to trade him. If you want to get someone great and you want to get better, Dan, you've been saying this for 2 years. You got to trade someone like Webb. But every fan goes, oh, no, he's an ace. First of all, Webb is not an ace, okay? Skubal is sort of a once-in-a-lifetime pitcher. Now, it might not work out, but all we've heard is great defense. We haven't had that this year. Great base running has been the worst, and starting pitching. We have 2.5 pitchers, and we have no bullpen. Our bullpen, you can't say guys like McDonald and these guys that have been there. We need a whole new bullpen. We have so much work. The team we have right now isn't working. And, you just see the Dodgers are level 11. We're about a 4.5.
This really is, this is like.
It opens up what we need.
I kind of think, when you went to high school and you played sports, right? You had your freshman year, you played freshman. Your sophomore year, if you were really good, you made it to varsity. If not, you played JVs, junior varsity. And then when you got to varsity, you were at the peak. The Dodgers are playing varsity. The Giants are like freshmen.
Freshman really JVs in between.
Yeah, they're just not even the step below. They're a couple of steps below. And it's time that the Giants wake up and realize, stop trying to just sneak your butts in the playoffs and say, well, we got in, anything can happen. You see what happened with the Reds? They just got in too. And they got bye-bye. Yeah. And they were horrible. They were not even a good team. And the Giants couldn't even beat the Reds out. So the Giants are going to have to spend. And if I'm the Giants, I don't know if I trade. My plan would be this: as I've watched these playoffs, I would go out and sign 3 starting pitchers, 3 of them. And I would have 5 starters, Webb, Ray, and 3 starting pitchers that are good starting pitchers, like guys like Framber Valdez and Ranger Suarez and another, maybe Adrian Hauser or somebody. Get me 5 legitimate starters, all right? And then go ahead and get me a bullpen. And then I'm bringing up Eldridge, and I'm bringing the doggone fences in, and I'm mashing home runs, because as I watch these playoffs, teams that strike out a lot still win games because they hit the 3-run homer. Bring the dang fences in, and you know what? Just mash. If you had Eldridge, even with the dimensions of this park, I counted it up today. I figured about 200 home runs for the Giants. If you had Eldridge and Devers, I think you'd get 60 homers between the two of them, between DH and first base. So you'd have maybe 35 from Devers, 25 from Eldridge as a rookie. Second base, Casey Schmidt would hit you 20 easily. He had 12 in just over half a season. So there's 60 plus 20, there's 80. Adames would hit you 30, there's 110. Chapman would hit you 25, there's 135. Ramos would hit you 25, there's 160. Jung-Hoo Lee, I would try to trade him, but maybe he hits you 8. But right field, go find a right fielder that can hit you 20 plus homers. And then you get some in your bench. You get over 200 homers, you get some pitching. Maybe you can start to win some games instead of winning games 1-0, 2-1, and losing a bunch of games 1-0, 2-1. You can actually have some mashers in your lineup and have some pitching. And I think that's the only way the Giants are going to compete, because they can go trade Eldridge and get a star pitcher, but that's only one pitcher, which they need a star pitcher. But go spend the doggone money, because you got the money. And if you're going to trade Eldridge for Skubal, you better get Skubal to agree to a long-term contract before you trade him, because if you get rid of Eldridge and he becomes a star and Skubal walks after 1 year, that would be Giants baseball, nothing like it. That would be typical Giants baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't trade for Skubal. You have 2 problems: Skubal's agent, but maybe since we've done work with them and we gave Kratman a huge deal, he might give us a break. But he's probably going to be 12 years. 300, almost $400 million. The problem is with that, the Giants would have 5 fat contracts. They're going to have to trade one of the other big contracts.
Yeah, they got a lot of contracts. You're right, Lou. And
yeah.
I think.
And the problem is, I agree everything you're saying, Dan, but for them to get 3 solid pitchers, pay them. Now you're talking, I think, what are they in for? $146 million guaranteed for next year, and they need a lot.
A little more than that, something like that, yeah.
you now are going to be at least 300, maybe 350 million.
Yeah.
I don't mind them spending it. It's not my money. I've already
Right.
paid for my ticket. So
They
I
should
think
be
it's one of
spending
those
the
things,
money.
but they didn't go over the cap this year. Buster says he needs this. He's got to get guys that, I mean, I could just tell the Giants weren't even in the league of these playoff teams. These teams know how to put rallies together. They do small ball. I mean, I still can't believe some of these guys were, I saw bunts. I mean, the guy last night for Toronto who bats ninth, right? Who hit the big homer. It was 8-9.
Jimenez?
Yeah, Jimenez. He hit a homer. The next time out, he had a guy at second. He puts the bunt down. Yeah. Small ball and does what it takes to win. The Giants never do that. Now, again, that might have been Melvin's fault, the Giants' attitude, but these other teams, just look at the talent on these other teams. We're not even close to these guys. That's why we got to, I know you say pick a lane, but we got to do something because I don't want us picking up one guy who's mediocre, bringing back guys. Then we're in the same situation another year. They got to do something. Just, the fans deserve it, as Buster said. And I think Buster has really spoken where if he comes back next year saying how good these guys, like maybe we pick up guys that were former team guys that, had an expiring contract, then you know what? His size 11 is up his ass and I won't believe him because he got on there and said the fans deserve it. We deserve it. We're the San Francisco Giants. Hey, you're talking a good game. Let's see it. And hopefully, he can.
It will be interesting to see because I think if the Giants don't make the playoffs next year, Lou, I think there's an uproar. I think you could have a work stoppage between the 26 and 27 season. If the Giants don't miss baseball is going to be on the back burner in the Bay Area because, you've got the 49ers that will be going. You got the Warriors and Steph Curry's. I think it'll be Curry's final year of his contract. There'll be a lot of talk there, him and Butler. And then you're going to have, the Sharks that are young and up and coming. And that season's going along. And if the Giants don't have a successful season next year, they could lose a lot of people. Now,
remember the A's left.
Yeah.
There's no competition. Hey, Dan, we have 2 super chats.
I was just going to get to that. There we go.
Beautiful.
Adrian, $5 Dodgers are an absolute cheat code. Mariners and Jays are battling it out to see who's going to lose to the Dodgers. Yeah, I mean, I get cheat code. A lot of people, I don't, they're doing everything within the rules. It's just baseball's got a problem. If they are going to allow this, then other teams should do it. I mean, the Giants could do what the Dodgers are doing. They have the money to defer. Look, just because the Dodgers are owned by a conglomerate, a financial conglomerate, they've got one of the biggest, hugest hedge funds, and they're an insurance company, which I represent, and they've given me tickets to Dodger games before, right behind the home plate, and all the food I can eat. And you know what? All is they're doing. I explained this the other night. They paid Shohei $700,000. They deferred $680 million. And they don't owe it to him until 10 years after the contract's up. All they have to do is put about $300 million into a 10-year annuity and let it grow at over 7% return, and they'll have enough to pay Shohei his $680. So they basically got Shohei for 10 years for a little over $300 million. That's how you think outside the box. We got some dude named Johnson that's supposed to be managing a huge mutual fund. He can't figure this out. Come on. He can't figure this out. You don't have to own the company to do that. Just go ahead. You've got millions of dollars in your bank. Go ahead and pay a guy and defer the money. But you know what? The Giants will wait too long, and then next CBA, they'll get rid of deferrals, and the Giants won't be able to do it.
Hey, Dan, one thing is these are all Bay Area fans that are upset what the Dodgers did. I just want to refresh some memories. The 49ers did this before there was a salary cap.
Yep.
Okay. And we had success. The Warriors had an owner. He didn't care about the cap. He would get guys that were 13 million, but because he was over the cap, it would cost him 80 million.
Yeah.
So it's not like the Dodgers are the first people. But I heard nobody complaining about the Niners are paying when primetime came here or when the Warriors went over. It's only the Dodgers. Now, I know it's our rivalry and they're doing good, but, what comes around goes around. I mean, you got to remember, the Dodgers haven't been like this for a long time. You got to remember when the Giants were good, when the Giants won their first World Series, the Dodgers finished dead last, okay? They weren't even in part of it. And a lot of the stuff where the Dodgers are built now, they got Mookie Betts in a trade, okay? They gave up one prospect that you heard of. The other two were so low, okay? Freeman, who was a stud for the Braves, said, I'm going to go there. Ohtani left the Angels because the Angels are run by Moreno, who doesn't know what he's doing. They got guys. Muncy was a former A's, got released. They got Will Smith that nobody heard of, who I would much rather have than Bailey. But the Giant fans, Bailey's a Golden Glove. Who cares when you can't hit? So they've done it the right way. The thing with the Giants recently is we can't get a free agent, so we got to make a trade for Devers. We didn't make a trade. Really what we got is we got an 8-year deal, and we had to give 3 guys out. It wasn't any major things, but now we're stuck with that deal, as well as 2 other deals, as well as a 4th. So, we can't have our cake and eat it too and complain because we know how hard it is to get a free agent. But stop complaining about the Dodgers and us being 20 steps away. What we got to figure out is how can we be, instead of 20 steps away, can we maybe make up 4, 5, maybe 7? Because we're not going to make up 20 in 1 year, but we got to start getting closer to them and stop thinking, let's do the 3rd wild card. We got to stop thinking, how can we be the Padres and knock the Dodgers out of the division? We're just being laid back. We're hoping we can be the 3rd wild card because of someone like Webb and Ray will be able to advance. We don't know that. We might have been swept right away. We got to stop thinking small. We have the money. The stadium's paid for. It's filled. Spend the money. Stop. Actually, give us a team that we're proud of. No one's proud of a team that's 500. As me and Dan said, especially Dan, we haven't picked a lane. You don't have a clue what Buster's doing. All you know is what he said. We're going to play better. We're going to make the fans happy. I wasn't happy this year. Oh my God, we are 500 again. We've done the same thing for 4 years.
Barely had to sweep the Rockies to get to 500.
Something has to be done. And I think, Dan, you bring up a great point. If we do another mediocre way, the fans should be upset because you can't keep saying, it's a great ballpark. It's something with the food. Remember a couple of years ago, the big thing is they had $9 beers. That was the big thing. This year, Jung-Hoo Lee, who wasn't even our best player, but people got crazy for him.
Yeah.
And then when you look at this year, Dan, what were your 3 biggest moments of the year to show you how pathetic the whole Giants season was?
I would say the first one was Elliot Ramos's Little League home run.
Okay.
The second one was Patrick Bailey's inside the park home run.
Correct.
And the third one was Patrick Bailey's grand slam against the Dodgers to walk it off. Those were the 3 big moments I could recall.
And the superstars didn't really do anything.
No.
There wasn't like a no-hitter or anything. No. It's amazing because most fans said, dude, Webb went 200 innings. Webb led the strikeouts. Okay, those weren't the big things. It was a catcher that we don't want back, that is good defensively, but he had an inside the park homer. We had actually 2. One that actually was a kid's Little League homer that won a game. The other one was an inside park homer, and then the other one was a grand slam against the Dodgers. But we still were 500. That's it. Yeah. Nothing else.
Yep. Chad says, Dan, do you see the next CBA changing next time? Do you see the next? Yeah, I do. It's going to have to change in some form or fashion. And this is why it's going to be very contentious, I think. December 1st, 2026, just a little over, about 14 months away, 13 and a half months away. We'll be staring right in the face of an ugly, probably some type of lockout by the owners where there's no negotiating for free agents. And we'll see. Now watch. Mark my word. Watch this. Here's what I could see happening. The CBA will begin December 1st, 2026. That's when the current CBA expires. The World Series will end somewhere around November 1st, generally, each year. Watch the Dodgers in the month of November of next year go crazy with signings because they'll be under the current CBA and they will get grandfathered in with some big contracts.
And why wouldn't other teams do that, Dan?
Because they don't think outside the box and they don't have the desire to win like the Dodgers do.
Correct.
So that's my prediction. Point. That's my prediction for November of 26. The Dodgers will go out and realize there's going to be a change. Let's go get our guys because Freeman's getting old, Mookie's getting old, Muncy's getting old. We need to replace all these guys. Watch what they'll do this offseason. They'll probably get that third baseman from Japan to replace Muncy.
The header, yeah.
They'll move, if they want to keep Muncy, they'll move Max over to second base, and they'll just say, Max, just take it easy, wear your glasses, go up there and hit. We'll get you some occasional in second base, and then come the playoff time, you'll be all ready to go. We'll have Tommy Edman. We'll probably move him on to the outfield. We'll bring Kiki back for the playoffs. And we got Pajes. We'll move off of Conforto. We don't need him. And then in the following season, when Scooble's a free agent, they'll go sign him before before December 1st. And look, they can just keep going. Look. That's just it's unreal. But I do think some changes are coming. I don't know what it's going to be like, Chad. My guess is there's going to be a fight over the deferrals of contracts. There's going to be some type of, I wish if they went to a cap, I wish they had a floor. I like the idea, Lou. I've been saying this recently that I like the idea of a floor of about 150 million and maybe a cap of 300 million, something like that. Then you got teams that are well below 100, like the Marlins, the A's, the Pirates. They got to step up, like double their payroll almost, And then what happens is if there's truly a real cap, then the Dodgers can't sign all the best players. Some of those best players are going to get spread around to some of the smaller market teams because they've got a bigger, just like the NFL, right? Who's got the most cap space? But you got to have a floor. You got to have a floor because you can't have a cap without a floor because, and if you're going to have revenue sharing, more types of real revenue sharing, you got to make those other owners spend that money they're getting from the Dodgers.
Yeah, I don't think enough people talk about a floor. I think that's a great call on your part, And the one thing I did want to say is, hey, baseball playoffs have been phenomenal. I know, from the first round, which is best out of three, we had a game 5 that went 15 innings. That was unbelievable. These games have been unbelievable. It's great when you have no competition. NBA hadn't started yet. Hockey just started. College football didn't really have many big games, but these playoffs have been phenomenal. They've been breathtaking. They're undescribable. I almost use the Giants motto, which hopefully they're not going to bring back. Nothing like it. It's been unpredictable, but no, I agree. You got to have a floor because, some of these teams, once they do get a superstar and they don't spend like Pittsburgh, well, they don't want to pay him the money. Then you're going to lose something like that. Detroit, it's just, unfortunately, that's just the way it is. But, yeah, something definitely has to be done.
Yeah. And let me see. Did I get another? We got a super chat right here from Raven. And he says, salary cap equals communism. Let's put the overachieving owners who are willing to win and help the lazy and cheap owners. Euro soccer have no
cap, no
problem with cheap tickets. and cheap tickets than U.S. Okay. I'm not familiar with Euro soccer as much, so he's saying they have no cap.
Yeah, but we already do this where we give them teams that don't spend enough. I mean, every team gets something like what, $29 million from the high end thing. So it's not like they don't. That's why with the Oakland A's, people are upset.
They're not putting it into the team. The owners are pocketing the money.
I agree there too. They're doing that sort of like the Giants. Giants might make up $485 million and they're only spending half. That's because half the other money is going in, where most teams are spending 75% of what you make, you should put back in.
Yeah. Yeah. Bill says they will never do a floor. Chad says a luxury tax. Well, luxury tax, there's a luxury tax now. It doesn't stop the Dodgers.
No.
They're paying, their tax is greater than the whole Brewers 26-man roster, their whole salary. The Brewers had like $122 million their team salary, and the Dodgers luxury tax is greater than that. So that's not going to stop the Dodgers. Look, the Dodgers, if the Dodgers, you say, oh, we're going to penalize you $500 million, they're just like, okay, well, I guess we'll just have to be a little more creative. And, you got them losing certain draft picks. They lose international picks and all that. If players, and I know I'm speaking to a lot of people who have played, competitive sports. You want to be on a winning team when you're a competitor. And not only do you want that, you want all the luxuries. People used to love Eddie D and the 49ers because the wives loved Eddie D and the girlfriends. They'd go to first class hotels in Hawaii.
Everything was first class.
Yeah, everything. It was like we're family. Remember when tragically Jeff Fuller hurt his neck? What did Eddie D do? He took care of him lifetime medically. See, people love an owner like that, and they love to work for an owner like that. And the Dodgers are treating all of their players like royalty and their families. And so and they not only redid their entire clubhouse to make it, the top clubhouse in all of baseball, Ritz-Carlton type, they did it in the visitors clubhouse too. Why? Because when the visitors come and go, oh crap, this is better than our home clubhouse. I wonder what the Dodgers got over there on their side. I think,
and they redid the whole lower level.
Yeah.
So there's now things. All the tickets include food, booze included. They've done it right now. If you go to a Dodger game, it's so different because they've made it an experience and a destination for players and fans, as one of your guests has always said. Right now, the Dodgers destination, it's the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Mets, and then everybody else.
Yep. So they've got to figure a way to look. If the organization is going to treat you well, look, they tried to stop the Warriors with this new collective bargaining agreement in the NBA, but Joe Lacob is still Joe Lacob. You're not going to change his personality. And the guy's dogmatic about winning. Maybe they can stop him from trying to, win every year, but he's still going to compete and go out there and try to win. And that's our problem with the Giants, is we don't think they actually do everything it takes. They got lip service, but their actions don't say we truly, truly want to win. Look, you got Devers. Okay, good first move. And Lou, you're right. It was a trade, but it was really a free agent type signing because they can't get guys like that. And maybe they need to go out and find other players that are signed for longer term that other teams don't want to continue to pay anymore. And maybe you can get some talent, but I don't know if it's going to work for the Giants because they're paying out high salaries, Lou, but they're not top-notch players. Like the Dodgers got Freeman.
That's the biggest problem. I mean,
we got Chapman and Lee and
Dan,
Adamas.
this year the Mets had the highest payroll. They were more than the Dodgers. Didn't even make the playoffs. You can't buy a championship. Okay. The Yankees, fourth highest payroll. They're not even in the ALCS, right?
Right.
So it's really who you pick. And the reason why I bring up the Dodgers is, they're spending money, but they'll take 2 steps, get a free agent. Then they'll do a trade. Then they get another free agent. Before you know it, you have 5 guys out of your starting 9 that you like, that actually are clutch, and they've done it before. They're winners, as the late, great, what's the name for the 49ers? I want winners. These guys would be stars if any of these guys would be stars on the Giants, our best player. Okay. We just got to realize we've just been, what would be the right word? Just happy being a 500 team. We're happy with Devers. Everyone talks, Devers is a good trade. But if you listen to me and Dan especially, he struck out more than anybody. He was at like 36%. He was almost a disgrace. Adamas. Everyone was happy. Oh, the Willie Mack Award. I thought he had a horrible year. Yeah, he got 30 homers, but the guy batted .220. Chapman. He was the greatest on defense. He had 14 errors, more than any other season. And the guy batted like 196 in runner scoring position. Another pathetic thing.
Right, and he didn't even make the finalists. He was not even in the top 3.
No, of course not. Only Giants fans who live in a dream world, who every one of these guys are good, think. And then you got Lee, who at the very end of the season started hitting. The guy wound up batting like, 268? This guy he's our 4th highest paid player. You got to expect more. We're just happy that these guys show up and they do an adequate job, and that's horrible. I expect more being a fan, and people forgot how it used to be. When you were a Giants fan growing up in the 70s, 80s, you wanted a superstar. We were spoiled. We had Mays. We had McCovey. We had guys like Jack Clark. Even teams that didn't win a World Series because of Dusty Baker, we had guys like Will. We had Kevin Mitchell. Chapman and these guys aren't of that stature. We still haven't had that type of stature. The last guy probably would have been Mad Bum or the Freak. The Freak. Oh, God, yeah, he pitched 2 no-hitters. But, Matt Cain was a decent pitcher. He wasn't a great pitcher, but Timmy at least was something. Won a Cy Young, pitched this. Mad Bum did the greatest thing that we'll probably ever see in the playoffs. I mean, Mad Bum's thing was so good and so unique. It was even better what Ohtani did tonight because it was only 1 game. He did it for a whole entire playoff thing. But that's the type of guys the Giants need. You got to be able to go to a ballpark. And I think the biggest thing the Giants have neglected is having a homegrown, someone we can fall in love with. I mean, really, to tell you the truth, the last really homegrown that I remember, Brandon Belt wasn't that good, was a guy like Chili Davis, Robbie Thompson, even Matt Williams, these guys, Will Clark, these guys that you heard about that actually succeeded. Not like the Giants now where all we hear is, this guy's the next this. I'm sick and tired of it. I want guys that are going to make me proud to be a Giants fan. I mean, Dan, you're wearing one of the old school hats, late 70s, early 80s. Back then, it wasn't about the 49ers because they weren't good. San Francisco was still a Giants town. You see orange and black everywhere. Most Niner fans are pissed off because they fucking moved. They sort of screwed over the Bay Area fans. There's no way to go to a ball game from San Francisco. That's a disgrace. Okay. But you got an opportunity where the A's are gone. You have a golden opportunity with a beautiful ballpark, beautiful surroundings, which the owners own behind it. Take advantage of it. Spend the money and have the best possible team. And then if they fall on their face, like if they do like what the Mets did, then at least I know they went for it. Not this half-ass stuff. That's all I want.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's just not going to work the way they're going about it. They're trying to, what's that saying? They're trying to thread a needle through or whatever. I can't even think of it right now, but they're trying to pinpoint and spend just enough where it looks like they're trying, but we don't want to go too far because it might backfire. And they'd rather play it safe.
Yeah, the
And
safe pick.
yeah,
It was sort of like Melvin, picking up Melvin. Oh, he wasn't that great of a manager. Yeah, he might have wins, but the guy never won the big one.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, it's so weird. And I'll just bring it up, the Giants manager. The flavor 2 weeks ago was a guy that's never managed before, never coached, but he's friends with Buster. Okay, we've tried that. This year, today I think it was today or yesterday, they interviewed the Kansas City bench coach. You got to start trying to get someone that's going to fit this organization, get this team going, because we have guys that are capable of being better. We just need to bring it out of them.
Did you see where a couple of days ago, Yadier Molina, I think it was yesterday, came out and said he'd like to get back into coaching or managing? And I'm like, okay, there's a guy that's not going to take any crap from players. He's as prepared of a catcher of a, as one of the most prepared guys that ever, when he did a game plan, to look at, because he's called, Yachty did the thing, back when he called every pitch, not the manager, and he would study and know the players. That's what the Giants need, is somebody that is so detailed that they're prepared to, when they go out there, they know what to do, and they know what their opponent's going to do. And he's also a tough-nosed guy. He's not going to take any crap. I would love to see Yadier Molina as the manager, because a guy like him, he's a Hall of Famer. Him and Buster both played in the same era. They're both great catchers. Seems like they can work it out, but I don't know. It'll be very interesting, Lou, when this decision gets made, because it'll tell us a lot. It's going to tell us a lot about Buster Posey. Is he going to want a guy that is where, he has a lot more say over this guy because he's inexperienced, or is he going to want a tough-nosed guy that's not going to take any crap from anybody and is going to be not some yes man? You know what I mean? Yachty seems like a guy that is his own man.
And he's a student of the game, which we've had guys that are like philosophers that really weren't successful players. The other thing is we were so spoiled by Bochy. The major league had to invent a rule because he was so ahead of the time with the bullpen. The three batter rule was because of the Bochy. Okay. Buster had a rule about him with the collision. So you got to get somebody that is such an art of the game, not this thing, the upper swing crap, and we got to think outside the box. I think we've done enough where friends of the family isn't working. Okay. It doesn't matter. I mean, we're talking about guys that played 90 games for the Giants. Okay. Over 2 years. And he worked down with Anaheim. With Texas. Okay. First of all, National League and American League are completely different. And I think we just need somebody that's going to be proud to, wear our hat, not because he wore it before, but hey, I'm going after probably, you guys think it's the 5th best job. I think it's the 3rd. We got to have guys, not like Hunter, where I don't know if you saw on the MLB network, there's 8 openings. And of course they asked Hunter, what do you think the best opening would be? And he goes, oh, well, of course, it's got to be the Giants. I know I'm a little bit homerish, but when you got a great pitcher like Webb, and you got a lefty with Ray, and then you got guys like Adames and Chapman, you got a winning thing. And I went like, what? See, that's the problem. I don't want them to think like that. I go, Hunter, that's just like you on the commercial leader, KMBR. You're saying nobody would rather manage the Braves? Nobody would rather manage the Padres? I mean, what are you thinking, dude? Get off your coffee and your drugs, that mushroom coffee, and face reality. Stop being a homer, And I think the other thing is, Dan, is once we decide who we're going to go, we got to move quick, because there might be other openings that we don't know about. Last year there were 12 openings. Now there's 8. You could see someone like, say, I'm just throwing this out there. Detroit somehow trade Skubal over the offseason. Maybe that manager, all of a sudden, he's just not in the mood to actually do a team that's no longer a playoff team. You know what I mean? Things can happen, and that's just Major League how it works.
Yeah. It's yeah, I see some comments in the chat about Larry Bear. Look, I think, I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat anything with the Giants. Look, they could, look, if I kiss their butt enough, maybe I could get credentials back, but I'm not willing to do that because I like to keep my integrity, and I'm not going to bow down to anybody that says you got to speak this way, and you can't, you can't say this about this. If you can, if you listen to other teams, go listen to the Phillies broadcast, go listen to the Mets broadcast, go listen to the Yankees broadcast back east. They'll sit there and rip their teams, not our broadcasters. No, they're not allowed to. And it's an insult to the intelligence of our fans because, the casuals, they
Same
all
thing
love
with
it.
Alex and Susan.
Yeah.
Cream puff answers. Just cream puff. And then some of the things they say, are they that dumb? Like Slusher. Oh yeah, Chapman's definitely a Hall of Famer. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's number one. She said that on MLB before this 25 seasons, she said she had Matt Chapman as the best third baseman in baseball over Jose Ramirez.
Homerism at its finest.
Yeah, and over Manny Machado, I can name 5 other guys. Chapman's maybe 6th or 7th, and that's factoring in his defense. If you went strictly offense, he wouldn't even be in the upper half. I don't know. It's unreal that they sell this to people, but Lou, I don't know if anything changes. We'll see. This will be the year because this is Buster's second year. It was an embarrassing year to go 1-15 on like 3 homestands, two or 3 homestands
at home.
Yeah. Look, I don't even know what their final record was at home. Wasn't it just, I'll look it up. Because I think, you want to win 50 games at home. That's what you want to do. You want to win 50 games at home, and then you want to go 500 on the road, and that'll get you 90 wins.
No, you want more than 50 wins. You want to at least be 15 games over. Is that what you were saying at home?
50.
Oh, 50 games total, and then and then be 41-41. That's 91. I got it. I see what you're saying.
Okay, so the Giants this year at home finished 42-39 and 39-42 on the road. So if they would have won 6 or 7 more games at home, they're in the playoffs easily. You can't play practically 500 at home, especially, and I'm so tired of this, people saying, well, you can't change the dimensions. It's a pitcher's park. How are they doing? They're not even winning at home with their so-called pitching that they thought they had. Maybe if you go out and get 5 studs to pitch, maybe you have a real advantage in your home.
And Dan, other teams come in and hit homers against us.
Yeah.
They also hit in the gap, which, we don't have guys that can hit in the gap. They, it's mind-boggling. We have a great stadium, but we don't have a team that fits the stadium. But every road team fits the stadium. It's like, I don't understand it. It's just one of those things where, the other thing, run differential was only 20. I remember the whole season we were like 90 something. And again, we had to win the last 4 games to be 500. Next year, we end with the Dodgers, who right now have won 14 of their last 15 games. So good luck if the Giants are below 500 that they're going to be able to sweep the Dodgers because they don't care. They want, knock the Dodgers out, and it's going to be tough. The Giants open up right away with the Yankees. Okay. Then you end with the Dodgers, then you got to go to Boston. This year, our home schedule, it's tougher on the road than at home.
Yeah. Look, we'll have an idea based on
Yeah,
this this spring training what kind of pitching they have because yeah, this is if we got rid of Kratman and got Alonso, yeah, it's I wish they yeah, geez, I just not for the Chapman signing. I don't think until they get Chapman get enough better players around them where Chapman can hit lower in the order, they're in
it's
trouble.
useless. Yeah, they're in trouble.
They're in
So, Dan,
trouble.
what do you think being Friday? Is Toronto going to be able to extend it to 7? Or was Seattle's win today sort of 2 nails in the coffin?
Well, they got you Savage going for Toronto, and I'm assuming who's pitching? Is it Gilbert's turn up?
No, he pitched
Uh,
yesterday, Gilbert. So let's
or
see.
I thought it was Kirby that pitched yesterday.
Oh,
Let
was
me
it Kirby?
let me
Yeah,
look.
they're undecided right now.
Okay, undecided. Okay, so they've
I mean, I'd
got
love for it to go 7. See that rocking Rogers Center.
Roger
I mean, but
Center. Yeah,
I think it's going to go 7. That's me.
yeah, they're undecided. Wow, that's interesting. It shall be interesting. Yeah, I think the Mariners. I mean, they had a golden opportunity. They may regret not. I mean, they got the 2 and they stole a couple. Really, they stole at least one in Toronto, and they got away with getting out of
Yep.
there 2. You don't. You didn't want to go back to Toronto, in my opinion.
No, it's sort of like when the Giants and the Cardinals would play.
Yeah,
Where they lost. If Seattle loses Game 6, most likely they're going to lose Game 7.
it depends on how they lose it. If they do it something like the Giants and the Angels in
1-0
World Series Game
when
6,
John Tudor beat
yeah,
us.
if they lose like a close game or if they lose a game they're ahead and Toronto comes from behind late and catches them, yeah, that's going to be trouble. I don't know, man. It's I'm hoping it's kind of Seattle's year. It seems kind of like Cal Raleigh and the magic
Amazing.
of just. I mean, did you see that home run he hit tonight? The sky
Amazing.
ball. It was just like, is that got enough? That was a moonshot.
Yeah.
Didn't know if it was never going to come down. The guy was camping under it. I'm like, is he going to catch it at the wall? And then that was unreal. Kyle says, Dan, I said this months ago, the Giants need to change their philosophy. Be a 500 at home, be a 580 on the road. That's just how it has to be. So you're saying be 500 at home and win on the road. Tougher to be 600, though, on the road, Kyle, because it's just not easy to win that many road games. They just have to, as Dallas said earlier in here, they've got to build their team to the ballpark, and they don't do that. Senior says, Lou, it's one thing to come to San Francisco once a year and hit a home run or two, knowing you don't have to play 81 games. It wears on a player after they get oracled on a few balls. Yeah, guys do get oracled out there in right center. You saw Brandon Belt. You saw it this year with Devers. A lot of blasts that, it gets you frustrated. Yeah, I know that Rafi Devers, if he had a chance, if they said, hey, you know what? Baseball says you can become a free agent next year. And you're guaranteed whatever you're making right now, you're guaranteed at least that. So you're not going to lose any money if you leave. He would leave, guarantee it. Guarantee it. He doesn't want to play in this ballpark. I mean, this ballpark, the best time of the year to play in this ballpark is October, and unfortunately, we don't make it. I mean, you saw this year, September, Lou, it's beautiful. You get the September, it starts, you get that.
The Indian weather.
Yeah.
Indian summer, as they call it. Yeah.
And what's that do to low tide or something? Or what is that? What do they say? I don't know what it's related to, but it's something to do with the coast. And, rumor has it that when Horace Stoneham, the original owner of the Giants from New York,
bottom over.
When he came to San Francisco, rumor has it they brought him out to Candlestick Point to look at that area around 2:00 in the afternoon or something, 1 or 2:00 when it was beautiful, and then the winds start picking up like later. I don't know if that is true or not, but that's what I.
And people
I've heard.
forget when the ballpark originally was built, center left all the way to right was wide open.
That's right. That's
You
right.
know?
Wow, look at this, what Aaron came up with. This is a fact. The Giants have only made the playoffs 13 times since 58. Maybe we shouldn't be this pissed off. 58. What is that? 67 years?
That's horrible.
67 years? Are you sure on that, Aaron? I believe you, but that's 13 divided by 67. 19.4%. Wow. Hey,
I mean,
Aaron, do it.
The Dodgers have made it, what, like 13 straight years?
13 straight.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Dan, I know we're not going to be here that much longer, but I wanted to ask you because one of the guys brought up a great question. And again, we all know about Panda. And I thought maybe one of the games the other night where I hadn't seen a cycle in a playoff game, but, which was incredible. But Ohtani, was this the best thing you've ever seen in the playoffs?
Oh, there was a question there in the chat. And in fact, I've got it right here because I started.
Started with a J. I forgot who. There you go. Yeah. Jonah.
Dan, just tuning in. Is this one of the greatest games you've seen from a player? Can you recall anything close? I think based on the fact that he pitched and hit 3 home runs and threw shutout ball of 10 strikeouts. I don't think he walked a batter, did he? Or did he walk one? Can't remember. That probably is the greatest single performance I've ever seen because, it's hard to go out there and pitch. I mean, think about Shohei Ohtani. He pitches the top of the first, and then you're in on every pitch obviously is coming from you. So you are expending energy on that. And then, I have a friend who's a big Dodgers fan who says he thinks that when Ohtani pitches, they should bat him third so he can come in and get a breather, so he's not the first guy up, which makes a lot of sense, but it obviously didn't affect Shohei. So the fact that he comes up in the bottom of the first and just knocks one out at 116 miles an hour, I think they said it was, greatest performance. Maybe the last great performance was also Shohei last year when he went 6 for 6 against Miami and had like 10 RBIs. The guy's phenomenal. I don't think he's as good as Barry Bonds as a hitter, personally. I think Barry was a better, more feared hitter. But because Shohei pitches, he may go down as an all-around better player.
And Dan, he's still pretty young. If he averages 50-something a year, he's going to be at 500 before we know it.
Yes. Is this another fact from Senior? I think so. Major League Baseball would have missed out on so much. They buried that gambling story so quick and put it on the Interpreter. Highly likely that Shohei knew what was going on.
And Dan, the whole thing about this too is the guy that the Interpreter bet at a place called Resort World, which is a part of a Hilton chain in Las Vegas. And the main guy that did all the action was actually caught because he actually was a bookmaker at one time. So he was running, he'd been fired. A lot of stuff, hush was down on the ground. And, the Interpreter you heard about, the guy running the casino you heard about, but you didn't hear about anything else. So It's just, one of those things. But no, I agree. Baseball, it's the same thing with who was the one that they said gambled? Michael Jordan. They said he had a problem where he owed like $50 million and he came back to the NBA and NBA says, hey, we'll take care of all your gambling debts because when he plays in the league, they make that money within the next year.
Yep. Exactly. Dallas says Resorts World is nice. I can't seem to lose there. Nice. Ipe will be set for life. I'm probably sure he will be taken care of. Yeah, he took the fall for Shohei. I mean, yeah.
I mean, look at Barry Bonds' guy that went in jail.
Oh yeah,
never
what's his name? Conti.
Well, Conti was the doctor, but who was his guy that went to jail for him?
Oh, I can't even remember his name.
But you remember he basically was in jail for like 18 months. I mean, trust me, they get taken care of. Not to say a word.
Yeah. Well,
the other thing too, Dan, is when you hear Ohtani when he hits, it comes off the bat like something you've never heard before.
Yeah, it's violent.
It's amazing.
It's violent.
Yeah, there you go. Violent. Good call.
Yeah, his swing is so quick, and the ball it's almost like a tee shot at times. You know how you look. You know how you see that beautiful tee shot from the camera behind the golfer, and you just watch it just soar.
I mean, and I love that they showed that today on his second homer, where it went over that little patio, which I've never seen a ball ever do before. And it was
gosh,
I don't even know where it even came down almost.
Didn't Schwarber's hit the top of it or something?
It hit the front of it, the thing. This went over, but it was only 4 feet more.
Yeah, come on. That was a 500-foot shot, please.
And Dan, speaking of Schober being a free agent, do you think the Giants see now? First of all, he would take care of two things. You have another guy that can hit the homer, and you could lead him off, and he doesn't strike out much.
Yeah,
and Philly's sort of on their way down.
Yeah.
Oh, Reggie's 3-homer game on 3 pitches. That was pretty dramatic too. I mean, they did invent a baseball. I mean, I'm sorry, candy after him. I forgot about that. Good call, Bill.
That's right. Yeah. What was the name of that bar? It was the Reggie.
It was the Reggie bar.
Reggie bar. And then,
Mr. October.
You know how long it took me to figure out that the Baby Ruth bar was named after Babe? I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
And then what about the O. Henry bar? Wasn't that after Hank Aaron?
It was after Hank.
Yeah. How come Michael Jordan doesn't have a candy bar or Steph Curry? I know why LeBum doesn't have one. No one would eat it.
That's true too. And by the way, he's missing the first month of the season. Thanks.
Good
job, Lakers.
Good. Yeah. Good. Yeah. I don't know. Who would be I think a bar, what do you think would be a better bar named for a candy bar? Ohtani or Shohei? I think the Ohtani, like Ohtani.
Ohtani here in the States and Shohei in Europe and Japan.
Yeah, I mean, Philip says you got your own bar, the salty bar. That's called a payday bar. That's a payday. I think that's the saltiest candy bar out there, right?
Hey, Breeders' Cup is in 2 weeks, Dan. That's why I got my little couple collections of just some ducats just ready for Vegas, all set up. For the Breeders' Cup.
I might have to I'll have to take Lou's advice again. Lou's made me money. He can.
Who knows? Maybe since they're going to do the drawing a week from Monday, maybe we'll do a show on the Breeders' Cup before I leave. Who knows? Anything's possible on NorCal Sports Network.
Yes, that's right. Make sure you like and subscribe, Robert. I got to show Robert. I got a. Hold on, I'll be right back. I got a couple.
Yeah, no problem. It's good to be back on, guys, on the chat. Good to see you, Dallas. Thank you for always helping out when I wasn't available. I mean, I haven't been on the show in a while, just taking care of some personal stuff and just trying to have fun, but it's good to be back. But yeah, incredible game tonight. And again, you got to just appreciate the Dodgers. But I will say one thing, and I don't know if I had a chance to say on the chat, there's so much tension in these playoffs. I sort of forgot how it was when the Giants were in the playoffs, where it was every inning, every pitch was, so big. I mean, it was, let me ask Dan. Dan, am I right? Do you remember when the Giants were in the playoffs, the tension you got? Like you were so focused on the games, you screamed at it, and, at least we're outside of it. But watching these games like that 15th inning game, it sort of made me think when Brandon Belt hit in the 18th inning. I mean, every game there's just pressure. So it's nice when we're on the outside.
Hey, my neighbor, he had a bunch of bobbleheads too, but they were hockey players, most of them. But he had a yard sale today, and he had these out there. They smell really good. I just washed them as they were out. But look, this is going to. I bought
Florida Gator.
This is going to Robert in the chat there.
There you go.
Robert is a big Florida Gator fan.
Gators.
Robert Boyd, I've got his address. It'll be coming your way. Florida Gators, nice hoodie. Good for the Bay Area. What else did I get here today? Look at that.
Bengals no, that's what's the name for Denver? Yeah, Tebow.
All right, that may go to the producer Ryan.
He's a big fan. Got to remember, he only played 2 or 3 years, it seemed like, but hey, he won a playoff game.
Yeah, and then let me hang this one up here. And then my neighbor, he's a big. He likes hockey too. This looks like almost like a hockey shirt, but it's a hoodie, and it's.
Oh yeah, the Wolf.
Yeah.
Minnesota.
No, I think this is the Coyotes, isn't it?
Oh no, Arizona Coyotes. Yeah.
Yeah. This is
or Phoenix Coyotes.
Phoenix Coyotes.
Yeah.
So Cliff Martinez, if you're out there, Cliff, I know you're a big hockey fan and you might be possibly coming to Arizona. That's a collector's item, maybe, right? Because there's no more Coyotes.
No.
So, yeah. So,
I mean, it got so bad they were playing in a club arena that only held like 2,500 people because ASU was using their own. But you know what happens.
They started out. They had the Glendale arena, nice arena.
Well,
I went and watched.
Gretzky was the owner or the coach at one time.
Yeah,
you know, but
he was there, one of the owners or something. And in fact, I should have bought one. There was a Wayne Gretzky bobblehead with the Coyotes. So they have a Slash jersey. Oh, Slater, yeah, Slash. Oh my goodness, those were the days. Wrong way. What do we got here? Baby Ruth candy bar is named after FDR's daughter.
Oh, I didn't know that. I was told something else.
Thanks, Mentor Mac. I did not know that. I assumed that Baby Ruth was just, but I guess FDR's daughter's name must have been Ruth. I'm assuming. Okay.
Mentor, I'm sorry. I didn't know that.
That's a darn good candy bar, by the way, the Baby Ruth bar. It really is. It's underrated. What do we got with Cal going on right now? What's the score?
14-10. It just started the second half. So
all right, we'll get out of here and go watch it.
I'm going to go watch it and everything. Yeah,
let's get out of here.
See if Cal can do it. It's a big game. They got to go 2-1 because their schedule isn't that easy. And one last thing, Dan, are you worried about the Niners on Sunday night?
A little bit. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, Atlanta, I think the potential is there for Bijan Robinson to run for 200 yards. He's so good. And the Niners run defense, it's like Swiss cheese, right? There's a lot of holes in it. So it should be an interesting game. It should be.
The Niners trade deadline will be very interesting this year.
Yeah. They've got to win a couple games if they're going to make a trade. So they got 3 games before the deadline. So hey, we'll do it again. I don't know when our next show is. There's no baseball except maybe tomorrow night. We'll see. Tomorrow night's Sunday night. I'm sorry. No baseball tomorrow.
Yeah, but the Niner game's Sunday night.
Oh, that's 5. Right. That's right.
5:30 or 5:05, whatever that Sunday night game.
Yeah. All right. Well, I will probably do something, Lou. Maybe we can do a football show right after because Larry, for home games, he's at least an hour and a half before he goes on live. So maybe we can go live after Niners Falcons around 8:15-ish for 45 minutes to an hour. So that'll probably be the next time we're on. And then we can probably also talk about the baseball game. We can maybe do a dual show there, cover the game 6 of the Mariners, Blue Jays, and then also hit the Falcons 49ers game. So, all right, guys. Hey, I'm going to turn the music on. I can't talk for 10 seconds because it doesn't hear me, so I can't talk over it. So here we go. And we will catch you on the way out. All right, Epicura. Oh, all right. He's a Dodger fan. He's a big Dodger fan in the chat, but he's a Niner fan. All right. All right. A lot of Dodger fans live in the Bay Area, you know, Lou?
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of them.
They all attended
49ers,
UCLA.
Red Zone. Dan and Lou, you guys cool. We'll see you soon. Thanks for hosting 100. Thank you, Danny and Lou. You killed it. Thank you, Epicura. Appreciate that. Have a good night, chat. Should be a good weekend of sports. Miami went down tonight to Louisville, the number 2 team in the nation. Lost to Louisville in the ACC game. Wow. We'll see where the ACC goes. Yeah, George Brett. I remember hitting 3 dingers. I also remember getting thrown out with a pine tar bat. And I also remember missing the World Series due to I can't sit down. I got hemorrhoids. Ah! Woo! Those must have been some painful roids not to be able to play baseball in the World Series or whatever that was. Yeah. Dang. Dallas, I'm worried every game. I'm like Russian roulette. Somebody's going down. Yeah. Good to see everyone. Yep. All right, guys. Thanks for watching the show. We appreciate you. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out. Get those likes nice and strong. Really helps the show. So go hit that like button on the way out. We really appreciate it. Thank you, and we'll see you Sunday night. Take care, everybody.